Hey, hey. Kim and I were just joking that we might get a little silly at this stage in the game, you guys. It's video number 3. You've already spent a period of time with us. You might come to expect that we might get a little crazy. We'll see.
And you forgot to mention that I am on cold medicine right now.
Oh,
So
that's
there's like
right.
a punchy quality to me, just so you know.
Kim's on cold medication. I have a bit of a frog in my throat. Who knows? Who knows where this one will go? But it's all good. It's all good. We'll get there, even if we take a detour, right? Video number 3, talking about launch management. So the number one thing that came up when we did our survey there a few weeks back, the number one thing that you guys are asking for and looking for, having a proven launch plan and templates to be able to implement these launches for your clients, right? Because really, when we've talked about in the first video, we talked about the 5 launch channels, kind of the 5 different ways that things can be launched. Video number 2, we talked about how to know which launch channel applies when, right? Like if your client's just getting started with something versus when they have a proven system, a proven program and everything. How do you know what to launch and when? So that you can help guide your clients a little bit in that decision-making process. But here's the thing. They know what they're offering. You've decided on the launch channel, the launch strategy. Now it's on your shoulders as the OBM, right? Now it is on your shoulders to make sure that this launch gets done. And yet I know that this can be, by far, probably the biggest area of frustration and confusion for a lot of you, right? Now, here's the thing. We're not going to be getting into exact nitty-gritty here today for the specific launch channels. What I want to talk about today and what we want to give you, and there's actually a checklist. Some of you may have grabbed this already, and if you haven't, it's here with the video, a launch plan checklist that we want to run through here today with you guys, right? What we're going to do in the training program, the OBM Launch Management Training Program, which of course is in partnership with myself and with Kim, of part of the Women's Launch Playbook. We're going to get into much more nitty-gritty detail of exact templates for each of these 5 channels, right? So there is very specific things that come into play with each of these 5 channels that we will get into in that training program. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about the training program at the end. But what I want to give you today is kind of we want to kind of give you the generic overview, if you will, of what you need to be aware of and what you need to be ready for when you're actually helping your clients plan out a launch. And first and foremost, I just want to say that there's one of 2 options here for you. You can have an experience where you purposely plan everything out, where you purposely look to get your ducks in a row, where you purposely, make sure decisions are made and things are clarified and all of that up front. It can be a proactive experience, or it can be a chaotic, fire's burning, the barn walls are coming down, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and you're waking up every morning in fear of what's going to blow up and explode in your inbox that day because of the launch, right? I've had the experience on either side. I'm sure you've had those experiences on either side too, right, Kim? And it's not to say that it's always smooth sailing, you guys, but I'm telling you, and this is the power of you plugging in from this perspective as an online business manager or otherwise, is you can make this a relatively smooth process if you're willing to do the upfront work that it involves to do that, right? And I want to run through just really quickly I guess there's the 3 phrases.
The phases, the 3 phase phrases.
Yes. The phrased phases of the launch process. Do you want to run through those really quickly?
Sure.
Here, Kim, and again, this is what's in that checklist too, you guys. I just want to be clear. In a little more detail of these is in that checklist as well.
Essentially, there's the pre-launch phase, the during the launch phase, and then the post-launch phase. So where there's a lot of work for you in the preparation is the pre-launch. I mean, that is the strategy. That's all the details. That's getting clear on what's your launch about, what are all the elements, how's it being done, who are you partnering with, all of the things that are really noted in this checklist. It is a lot of planning. And, I am a very, very big believer that, there will be problems. I mean, that's just going to happen. But the more planning that you can have done and the more planning that you can bring to your client, they crave that. I will share with you, when I was working with Glazer Kennedy, I was brought on to run their affiliate and their JV program. And they had never done a product launch. And basically our CEO had come to me and she said, Kim, I know you're this get it done girl thing, And basically, we're looking to do this big launch. And the only way I'm going to do it is if I know that you are overseeing every single detail. And I will tell you honestly, I did not know what every single detail was in that process. I did my very, very best guess to make them up, to ask some smart questions, and to kind of put together a good roadmap. But you can imagine when I got to the second and the third, how much smarter I was, because I kind of started with the roadmap. I'd had my mistakes, I improved upon them, etc. But I cannot stress how important that planning process is, and knowing what the things are that you even need to plan. There are, and again, and in all fairness, if you were doing something smaller scale like the speaking launch, there's really not a ton to do. I mean, let's just be realistic. But if you're moving into something, even pilot program launch has moving pieces. I mean, it does, and certainly the buzzworthy does. So there's a lot of element of the planning. Then as you kind of move into the launches live phase, that's, I don't want to say that's coasting time, because you never coast, but, it's sort of, I guess I like to describe, you want to have grace under fire. You want to know that should something happen, you are there to gracefully handle whatever can happen. And honestly, I've been a part of things where servers have gone down, email systems stopped sending, people got blacklisted, like affiliate links didn't work, like the kind of stuff that you're like, did this really happen to me on launch day? Did this really happen? And so there's this quality of grace and handling it and doing your very best and all of that, and keeping your client calm. That's going to be key.
Oh, yeah. That can be
very, very key, keeping your client calm. What goes unnoticed and people forget about is the post-launch. The post-launch is where most launches fall apart, because people forget. They think like, I just made my money, ka-ching, people bought, it's over, we're done. But that is not the case, because it's one thing to get the sale. It's a very different thing to keep the sale.
Yeah.
And I had an experience with this with a client where one of the things I had learned very, very strongly, and this is something that Tina and I will teach in the program, is something called a stick strategy. The premise of the stick strategy is that somebody has bought from you. Let's imagine they've bought something, and then maybe there's a 30-day refund period. Well, how are you engaging with them over those 30 days? What process has been put into place to ensure that that client who purchased whatever it was that you launched is now using it and adopting it and engaging with it and all of that? And so I learned this very strongly when I was with Glazer Kennedy, the importance of having a very, very solid follow-up campaign with a lot of components that are a part of that. But I had gone to work on a separate launch, and I kept telling the client that I was working with, I said, you're going to need to think about after the launch. He said, no, we just need to worry about the launch. I said, oh, let me tell you, like, you will get burned. And they did. They stopped thinking about it. So it's just very important to keep that customer service, that positive vibe going, because the other thing that I think you want to make really clear to your clients and to remember yourself is we are not in business for one sale. We are in business for multiple sales and to develop a relationship with those who buy from us. And how do you do that other than ensure that they've had a really positive experience going through that process? So very often I watch how much it falls apart in the post-launch.
And that's frightening. See, I love this, because when we're looking at this, again, just kind of breaking down this timeline, pre-launch, preparation, all of that, during launch, and post-launch, right? So each of those things are so key for various reasons. But here's the thing, too. I love that you said this, Kim. I really want to kind of circle back to this. The most work, ideally, is for you in pre-launch. Mm-hmm. You get all your ducks in a row in pre-launch. Look at this. I mean, we're doing this 3-part video series, essentially a launch for the launch management program, right? We've pre-recorded videos. We've pre-written materials. We've got a sales page set up. We've got whatever set up. All that stuff is happening before you guys are ever going to see these videos, before you'll see the first video, right? We purposely do that and prepare and create everything before we even start the launch, so that during the launch, we're not in panic mode. right? You know, it's like ideally during the launch, you want to be able to be responsive to what's going on. You want to be able to, you know, God forbid, if the server goes down, you want to be able to take care of that. You don't want to be like trying to work on video number 2. Well, video number 1's blowing up in your face or something. Yeah. So this is really all part of you. Your role is to very purposely drive all the preparation, all the process, all the stuff that needs to happen in the pre-launch phase. So that the during launch phase, it's almost like you get to sit back and be like, all right, woohoo, let's see this thing come together. You know, like that's ideally the space you want to be in.
And really putting together a great sequence and calendar of all of the tasks that are required, which is a big part of what we're going to be teaching. I mean, that is the key. And that's the other funny point. I know I had shared that in one of the videos that the business owners desperate for. They don't know how to sequence the steps. They don't even know what the steps are. So they're so pleasantly surprised if you can map it out, oversee it, and you just let them know what they need to give you when.
Yep.
You know, and you're on top of them for that, and you're managing that whole calendar process.
Yeah. And the timing factor, you reminded me of this too, Kim, because again, we'll get into this specifically with each of the channels in the full training program, right? But you want to be able to lay out the timeline for your clients so that was another common one that came up in the survey, right? My client wants to do a buzzworthy launch in like a month.
Right. Oh, yeah. Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. You know, but this is the thing too to look at. It's like, what is the timing of all of these various projects or various types of plans, various types of channels? Right? What is the timing factor if you're going to do a buzzworthy launch compared to like a simple speaking type launch, compared to a JV affiliate type launch? You know, there's very specific timing factors that come into play here that we want to be able to give you guys these plans, these templates, so that you're empowered to go back to your clients and say, here's what it's going to take to do this. No, dear client, we cannot do a buzzworthy launch in 3 weeks. As a matter of fact, you probably shouldn't do a buzzworthy launch right now because you should probably do a pilot launch. But if we are going to do that, here's what it's going to take, right? So in order to do it well, here's what the timing factor that's going to need to come into play. And we will get very specific with that, you guys, in the scope of this training. But just really the thing I want to say too is that when it comes to the planning, like planning everything out, you know, just be purposeful in the planning. There can be a lot of work, but as long as you get the plan in place ahead of time, it's just a matter of working on each step as it shows up.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't plan and everything's in your head and everything's in reactive mode and everybody's scrambling at the last minute, that's the worst part of this. That's going to be the worst part of this launch process for you. Right? If you can, as long as you purposely plan ahead and very strategically lay everything out, lay out those steps, lay out the dates, lay out who needs to do what and when, then it can be a relatively smooth process. It's just a matter of working each of those steps as it comes up. So I'm gonna point you guys to the page for the launch management program that we've mentioned a couple of times. If you're watching the videos live, today would be Friday the 13th. But we're not superstitious or anything, so you know there won't be any ladders falling. Although maybe that's why I should say, knock on wood, we had so many technical difficulties when we went to record these videos. You guys probably would have laughed at us behind the scenes. Because it took us probably an hour before we could get these things working. But we're going to do, today being Friday the 13th, or might be after that, depending when you're seeing this video, we have an early bird offer for you guys. The program doesn't start until January. It actually starts, I can't even remember the date.
January 14th.
We start 14th. See, Kim's ahead of the game here.
I'm keeping up on all of our planning details.
The live program is going to start on the 14th. But given that we're coming into the holiday season and end of year and all of that, we wanted to get this out to you guys now so you can plan for it and be ready for it as well, right? So that you're not kind of scrambling last minute at the beginning of the year to get ready to help your clients here. It's the 13th. There's an early bird offer of saving $100, so the program will be $397 instead of $497 if you buy before the 20th of December. So that's a Friday. You got a week from today, right? Or less, depending on when you're seeing this video. But by all means, good savings as far as that goes from an early bird perspective, and likewise a couple of payment options and such as well too for you. But really, I just want you guys to really think about this. You know, the complete details on the page, you'll see the information here on the video. obmacademy.com will take you to the main page, and you can click through to information from there, or just click the links that are below and with this video. But basically, I want you guys to really consider, you know, not only how can you serve your current clients better with launches, right? I mean, because that's going to be true for some of you. This could just be as simple as, I'm working with a few clients already. We got so many launches going on and coming up. I'd rather be able to take a plug and play template, help them make the right decisions, plug it in, and away we go, right? Or for some of you, this could be another aspect of looking at how you can make some more money, how you can potentially even look at offering launch management services as like a standalone package. And we're going to talk about that very specifically in the training too, right? What can that look like for you? How can you package this up so you could plug in, do a launch for somebody? That's it, you're done. You know, move on to the next thing as well too, right? And I know that's something that a lot of you are looking for, is kind of additional ways that you can be increasing your own income alongside the ongoing work that you have with some of your dedicated clients. So woohoo. And seriously, how do you not want to pick Kim's brain, who's like worked with people like Glazer Kennedy and others that have done these like crazy high-end, all kinds of launches. I dare say, Kim, you've probably seen everything A to Z, good, bad, and ugly at the end of the day when it comes to launches. So
yeah.
Woohoo! All right, you guys, again, early bird savings up to the 20th. If you're seeing this video after December 20th, no problem. You can still join us. You can still join us. We will officially get started in January. And I'm excited. I can't wait to get into this more so.
I can't wait.
We're going to have some fun. Very cool. All right, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Take care.